reading from Śrī Bhagavat Sandarbha. This is Anucheda number 2. And Śrī Jīva Goswami explained how one Tattva manifests in three ways as Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavān. And he gave the definition of Brahman. And then he defines Bhagavān. So tadekam tattvam swarup bhutya eva shaktya kamepi vishesham dhartri parasham api shaktinam moola ashya rupam tadanubhavananda sandohantar bhavit tadrish brahmanandanam bhagavat paramhansanam tathanubhavek sadhaktam tadiya swarupananda shakti visheshatmak bhakti bhaviteshu antar bahirapi indriyeshu parisparadva तद्वदैव विविक्त तादृश शक्ति शक्ति मत्ता भेदेन प्रतिपाद्यमानं वा भगवान इति शब्दते. So Bhagavan is defined here as vivikta tadrisha shakti shakti matta bhedena, that in which there is a distinction between shakti and shakti mat, that there is potency and the potent. So this distinction is that which exists or realized in Bhagavan. In the previous one, if you remember, in Brahman, it was said that Tadvadeva avivikta shakti shakti matta bhedataya, that there was no distinction between Shakti and Shakti mat. They appeared as one. So he says the very same absolute reality is named Bhagavan when as the reservoir of all other transcendental energies it manifests unique characteristics by the power of its internal potency and becomes revealed to the senses both internal and external. So this is another difference between Brahman realization and Bhagavan realization. In Brahman realization there is no external experience with the senses. So here he says that it is experienced also with the external. Antar bahirapi indriyeshu parispuradva. So Brahman is not with the external senses. It is only realized within oneself. Chetasi, he says. Tadgrihana asamarthe chetasi yata samannito lakshitam. So Brahman realization is only when there is Brahmakar vritti in the heart, in the chetas. That's what is Brahman Sakshatkar. But here Bhagavan comes also manifest externally, or rather he manifests in the senses of the person. So both internal and external of the devotional transcendentalists, for such devotees, the bliss of encountering the Absolute, replete with its innate attributes, subsumes the bliss of Brahman realization. So this Brahman, the knowledge of Brahman, Brahmananda, it is included in it. This we discussed last time. The senses of such devotees are transmuted through devotion, which itself is a specific aspect of conscious bliss potency. When the Absolute Truth is defined precisely in this manner, taking into consideration the distinction between the conscious energetic source and its energies, it is known as Bhagavan. So he is known through bhakti, which is also his own energy, and it is only through the bhakti that this realization is possible. So this is the distinction between Brahman and Bhagavan. So now he gives an example from Bhagavatam. Evameva uktam Śrī Jada Bharatin. So Jada Bharata, he was teaching to King Rahugana, and he says as follows. Jnanam vishuddham paramarthamekam anantaram tu bahi brahma satyam Pratyak prashantam bhagavad shabda sangyam yad vasudevam kavayo vadanti The absolute truth is pure consciousness and the ultimate of that which is to be attained. It is one devoid of any internal or external divisions. It is eternal and is called Brahman by the Jnanis. The same absolute truth is called Paramātmā by the yogis and is situated unperturbed in the heart of every living being. It is called Bhagavān by the devotees, while learned scholars call him Vasudeva. So this is a verse which reflects the meaning of Brahmeti Paramatmiti Bhagavaniti Shabdate. So that verse refers to three manifestations of the Tattva. The same three are also described here. So first is Brahman, Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam Antaram Tvabahir Brahma Satyam. So this Brahman is Jnanam Vishuddham. It is the pure consciousness. And Paramarthamekam, it is Paramartha, it is the supreme object. And one, Anantaram, no divisions of internal or external. So that is Brahman. And Pratyak Prashantam. So this Pratyak, there are two words which are used in Sanskrit many times, Pratyak and Parak. So Pratyak is used for conscious beings, whether Atma or Paramatma, and Parak is for material objects. Pratyak actually refers that which is self-luminous, and Parak is that which needs something else to illuminate it. So Pratyak and Prashantam, this Pratyak here refers to the Paramatma. So Prati Atman Prati Anchati iti Pratyak. That which is inside everyone, that is Pratyak. And Prashantam. And Bhagavad Shangyam Vasudevam Kaviyo Vadanti. And the same truth is also known as Bhagavan or Vasudeva. So he is citing this to show that it is the one reality which has got all these features of Bhagavan, Paramātmā and Brahman. Sri Dhruvam Prati Manu Nacha. And Manu has also spoken this to Dhruva. Tvam pratyagatmani tada bhagavati ananta ananda matra uppanna samasta shaktau bhaktim vidhaya parama sankaira vidya granthim vibhetsyasi mamahamiti prarudham. So this is when Dhruva, he was fighting with followers of Kubera Yakshas who have killed his brother. So he was very angry and he was fighting with them and killing them. So at that time Manu has appeared to stop him. So here he is also referring that by regarding your natural disposition of rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, the ground and source of all potencies, who is the all-powerful reservoir of all bliss and who resides in all living beings, you will very soon forget the illusory concept of I and mine. So the fight was going on because obviously of the distinction that this is my brother and these are my enemies. So because of that he was fighting. But when one realizes the absolute reality, then this distinction is not there because there is only one reality which is manifest. When we identify with our physical body, then this raga and dvesha comes. This is how Patanjali has defined it in the sutra, that there is avidya asmita, raga dvesha and abhinivesha. So first there is avidya or ignorance of our true identity. We identify with the body. Body becomes our I, asmita, and then as soon as we have, then we have liking, and this is mine and that is not mine. So then hatred comes and attachment. So this is how people work in the material world. They like things which are suitable to their physical body, they dislike which are not suitable. But he says that when you will become situated in bhakti, bhaktim vidahaya paramam sankair avidya granthim vibhetsyasi. So when your avidya granthi will be cut asunder, then this duality will go away. And then this raga and dvesha, which is the basic principle of material life, this will be removed. So then there is no question of fighting with these people. So it says, Tvam pratyagatmani tada bhagavati ananta ananda matra upapanna samasta shakta. So Śrī Jīva Goswami is citing this verse to show that how all the three, Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavān, are referred here. So again, pratyagatmani. So what is pratyagatma? What is pratyagatma? Out of these three, Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavān, what is pratyagatma? Paramatma. Why is that? I just explained.
Because it is all permeating. All permeating in the hearts of everyone who is inside.
Because pratyaka I said which is inside the conscious being. So pratyagatma is Paramatma. So tam pratyagatmani tadva, and Bhagavati is Bhagavan. And ananta ananda matra. So ananda matra, what is ananda matra? Is Brahman. Because it doesn't have any variety in it. Matra means only. And upanna samasta shakta, which has all potencies, this refers to Bhagavan. Because Brahman does not have Shakti. So therefore, he says that when you will perform bhakti, then you will become situated in your original Swarupa. And you will give up this idea of I and my. So in this way, he has explained two features of the reality, Brahman and Paramātmā. Bhagavan. Right? Because Paramātmā he will speak later on in Tattva Sandarbha. But it's important to know these two. So what is the difference between Brahman and Paramātmā? Anyone can explain? Bart?
Brahman doesn't have any feature at all. There's no distinction for him.
Can give the mic to him.
Brahman doesn't have any form, any quality, anything that can be referred to. But Paramātmā is situated in the heart of every living being everywhere and has some power.
And Bhagavan?
Bhagavan, those other two exist in him.
So where is Bhagavan situated? Paramātmā is situated in the heart. And where is Bhagavan? In the temple room. So Bhagavan is in his own abode. He doesn't waste his time here. And where is Brahman? Brahman is everywhere. Without Brahman there is nothing. Because everything exists only because of Brahman. So, we come to Anucheda number 3. So, you make this concept very clear because most people are not clear about it. This Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavān, this distinction is not clear to people and they confuse one with the other. So, some people think that Brahman, there is no such thing as Brahman. So, they always try to interpret Brahman as Bhagavān. Right? Whenever the word Brahman appears, they will translate it or interpret it to mean Bhagavān. And then there are others, whenever the word Bhagavān appears, they will interpret it to mean as just something material. And everything is only Brahman. So Jiva Goswami is different from both parties. He says Brahman is Brahman and Bhagavān is Bhagavān. He accepts Brahman also, Bhagavān also, and he reconciles them. So, Anucheda number 3, Bhagavān as the qualified absolute. Evam cha anandamatram visheshyam samastaha shaktiyo visheshanani Vishishto Bhagavān iti ayati. So this is the concluding statement, very important statement. So there are 3 things, Visheshya, Visheshana and Vishishta. Right? It's clear from Nyaya. We studied this in Nyaya's Tark Sangra. So now it is useful here. So what is Visheshya?
The container?
Container. Yes. So Visheshya is that which you qualify with something. And Visheshana is that which is the qualifier. So the qualifier or modifier is called Visheshana. It comes from the word Vishesha. Vishesha means something special. So Visheshana is that which gives speciality to something. So if you say red rose, so red is that which is giving speciality to the rose. So Visheshana does 2 things. One is that it distinguishes it from others of the same class. That means there is a white rose, there is maybe yellow rose. So when you say red rose, means it is now distinct from all other types of roses. So that is the first function. Because if rose is only of one color, although rose originally has only one color, it's a rose color, but now we also have white and pink and blue. So therefore we have to qualify. But if it is only of, just like you have conch, so we usually don't say white conch, right? You just say conch, because conch is always white. If there were conches which were blue or red in color, then you have to make specifically say red conch, blue conch. So therefore one of the major function of the qualifier is to distinguish it. And distinguish it from what? From its own class. Because when you say conch, then conch has conchness in it. And because of conchness, it is distinct from everything else which does not have conchness. Right? So, conchness is making it distinct from all other objects which are not conch. Whenever you say that conch means, it means that it is different from which is not conch. But if you say white lotus, then that white is making it different from other varieties of lotus, not from things which are non-lotus. Things which are non-lotus, they have been already separated by saying it lotus. So when you say lotus, it means it is different from anything which is non-lotus. But when you say white lotus, it means that it is different from all other types of lotus having other colors. So that is the function of Visheshana. Vyavritti vyavaharo va Visheshanasya prayojana. So its first function is Vyavritti, to make it distinct. And then Vyavahara, we also have practical dealings. So I may say bring white lotus, so then I am asking you to bring something, so I have to say it. I have to make Vyavahara. So that is the purpose of Visheshana. So that's why it is called Visheshana, because it is very specific. It gives speciality to an object. Okay? And then the third word is Vishishta. So Vishishta means that which has got Visheshana, which has some distinguishing feature, some characteristic which makes it distinct from others belonging to the same class. So when I say white lotus, then white lotus is the qualified object, and the qualifier is white, which is distinguishing it from the objects called lotuses. There may be red lotus, blue lotus, yellow lotus. Now, just as a side, I want to say that sometimes a Visheshana is used not to make it distinguish from others, but just to speak about its characteristic. So if I say white conch, and if I use the word white conch, I am not wrong, because conch is white. So when I am using the word white conch, then the word white is not a modifier here. Although it looks like a modifier, but it is not modifier, because it is not modifying conch to distinguish it from any other conch, because conches are always white. So then it is just describing its characteristic. Then I am just learning that conch is white. So therefore, sometimes the word can be used, the adjective can be used, and it is not a Visheshana, because it's not telling anything specific about this only. It's a general characteristic of conch is whiteness, is a general characteristic. Every conch has it. One conch is not distinct from another conch because of whiteness. Just as one lotus can be distinct from another lotus because of whiteness. Other lotus may be red. So that's not the case here. So then it is just describing its color, that's all. It's not making it distinguish from other conches. So he says that Ananda matram visheshyam. So he says that bliss or Ananda is the unqualified substantive, Visheshya. And what is it out of Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavān? What is the Visheshya? Brahman. Brahman is the Visheshya. And the energies Shaktayo Visheshanani. So all the energies is qualifiers, Visheshana. And then Bhagavan is the qualified substantive. So this is very interesting here. When we talk about lotus, then lotus you will not see without any quality or characteristic. It will always have it. Whether you say red lotus or blue lotus or white lotus, you say or you don't say, it will have some color. Right? You will not see some object without any qualities or form or shape. So when you are not saying it, you are just not making it specific, but it has it. So even whether you say lotus or you say white lotus, it is the lotus which is the qualified object, and it is the lotus which is the visheshya. If you strip off all its qualities, then still it is lotus only. But in case of Bhagavan, it is interesting that when you strip off Bhagavan of all its energies, it is Brahman. Means Bhagavan cannot be without qualities. Then he says, okay, you want to make me free from my energies, now you call me Brahman. So that reality, it's only one reality. When that reality manifests without qualities, that is called Brahman. The same reality, when it manifests with qualities, is called Bhagavan. In case of lotus, it is lotus only. Is it clear? Yes.
Does it mean that Brahman does not have any Visheshana?
No.
Does. It does have attributes.
No, it does not have.
It does not. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It does not have. If it has attributes, then it will become qualified with those attributes.
I was just thinking because before we had this that Brahman is has the bliss as its essence.
Yeah, but that's not its qualifier. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's not qualifier. Qualifier, you understand what qualifier means. That's what I was explaining, that when you say blue lotus means it is different from white lotus or yellow lotus. So if bliss will become a qualifier of Brahman, then you are saying that there is Brahman without bliss also.
Thank you.
So I understand about that Brahman is formless and Bhagavan isn't, but Paramātmā also
Paramātmā is what?
has form?
Yes, of course.
But then it's just that qualities.
No, Paramātmā has energy also, qualities, form, everything. Paramātmā is like Bhagavan, just that he is manifest inside the heart. Bhagavan manifest outside. Paramātma's job is the controlling. He is the boss. He is the bossy feature of Bhagavan. It's like Brahman is the unqualified feature of Bhagavan. Bhagavan stripped of all his qualities is Brahman. Right? And Bhagavan stripped of his sweet nature and just being the boss, that is Paramatma. So tatha chaivam vaishishtya prapte purna avirbhavattvena akhanda tattva rupa asau Bhagavan. So in this way, being qualified by all his potencies, vaishishtya prapte. So vaishishtya means having these qualifications. And purna avirbhavattvena. So complete manifestation. And akhanda tattva. And indivisible. So that is Bhagavan. So why it is called indivisible? Because you should not think that just because Bhagavan is standing in front of you, now, like when we see a form, this is the problem which Advaitavadis are unable to solve. And therefore they have to say that Bhagavan is also material. Because when we see a form, then we see division. That here is a person, and then there is everything else which is not that person. Right? So form actually makes division. That's why Advaitavadis say that we should go for formless, then there is no division, then there is no problem, there is no fight. Then there is no hatred. But also there is no love, that's what they forget. So they want to get rid of hatred. Along with that, they also get rid of love. This is called throwing the baby with the bath water. So there is no love, no hatred, neutral, because Brahman doesn't say anything. So now he says that Bhagavan is there, and Bhagavan has a form, but he is indivisible. So don't think of him that just because he is standing in front of you and you see him, that he is limited only to this much. He is everywhere. So this is mind-boggling. This is exactly what Krishna showed in his Dambandhan Leela. That so many ropes could not bind him, but that does not mean he became big in size. He was the same small baby, boy, and big ropes could not tie his belly. So how is this possible? You cannot imagine it. It's just not possible to imagine it in mind. That you have a rope which is, say, 10 meters long, and this rope is short to go around the belly of Krishna, who is just a 5-year-old kid or even less than that. How is this possible? So this is the meaning of Akhanda Tattva. That he is indivisible reality, which also means that all this Brahman, Paramātmā, everything is inside that only. You cannot make bifurcations or trifurcations or whatever. It's all one unit. Everything in that. All in one. So 2 in 1, 3 in 1, all in one. So that is Akhanda Tattva. And it is Purna Avirbhav, it is complete manifestation. So Brahman, he said, was Asamyag Avirbhava. If you remember, he used the word Asamyag. That Brahman is the incomplete manifestation. Because Brahman does not have qualities. So qualities are not manifest. So in Bhagavan, there is complete manifestation. So that's why if you know Bhagavan, then you know everything. You will know Brahman, you will know Paramatma, you will know the energies, everything is known. So that's what Upanishad says, that Yasmin Vigyate Sarvam Vigyatam Bhavati. That by knowing him, everything becomes known. Because he is the complete reality without any divisions. Brahmatu sputam aprakatit vaishishtyaakarattvena tasyaiva asamyag avirbhava ityādi. So now he says this here. From this it is concluded that because Brahman exhibits no specific qualities, just Ananda. So in Brahman there is no division of experiencer and the experienced also. It is an incomplete manifestation of that truth. Idam tu purastad vistarena vivechaniyam. So he says this will be explained in detail later on. So you see how systematically Jiva Goswami is refuting Advaitavad. One way of refuting is that you take their arguments and then you refute. And this is what everybody has done. Because what people have, other Vaishnavacharyas have done is that Shankaracharya wrote commentary on Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad. So they also wrote commentary after him. All the great Vaishnavacharyas, they came after Shankaracharya. So they wrote commentaries, and while writing commentary, they refute him. Basically, they refute his explanation, which he has given from Advaita point of view. So Jiva Goswami does not do that. He goes from a different angle. So he takes Bhagavatam as the authority. That's why he established that in Tattva Sandarbha. And now he says from Bhagavatam you will see what is the ultimate reality. So that's what he is doing. So now after he has defined what is called Bhagavan, and that is the subject matter of this book, that's why it is called Bhagavat Sandarbha. So the word Bhagavan, those of you who are learning Sanskrit, the stem word is Bhagavat. And it is made from Matu Pratyaya on the word Bhaga. So in Matup, Ma changes into Va. So instead of Bhagmat, it becomes Bhagavat. And then Bhagavat when you decline. So nominative singular is Bhagavan. Bhagavan, Bhagavantau, Bhagavantah, Bhagavantam, Bhagavantau, Bhagavatah, Bhagavata, Bhagavadbhyam, Bhagavadbhi. Right? And fourth case?
Bhagavati.
Bhagavati?
Bhagavati.
भगवता गाड़ी गुल बेटा गया काम से भगवते भगवते Bhagavata is 5th and 6th. 4th is Bhagavate. So that's why it is called Bhagavat Sandarbha, because that is the stem word. So this book is talking about Bhagavan. So now he gives the explanation of the word Bhagavan from Vishnu Purana. In Vishnu Purana it has been defined by sage Parashara. So Bhagavat Shabda Artha Śrī Vishnu Purane Proktaha. The meaning of the word Bhagavan is explained by the sage Parashara in the following verses of Vishnu Purana. Yattadavyaktam ajaram achintam ajam akshayam anirdesham rupam cha panipadadi sanyutam vibhum sarvagatam nityam bhutayonim akaranam vyapya vyapyam yat sarvam tadvai pashyanti surayah tad brahma paramam dhama tadhyem mokshakangshinam shruti vakyoditam sukshmam tad vishnoho paramam padam tadetad bhagavad vachyam swarupam paramatmanah vachako bhagavat shabdas tasyadyasya aksharatmanah. So that which is unmanifest, free from aging, inconceivable, unborn, never decaying, indefinable and formless, which is thus devoid of hands, legs and other such bodily limbs, which is supreme, all-pervading, eternal, the cause of all beings, yet without any cause, which is all-encompassing, but not itself encompassed, the source of everything, and known to the wise is called Brahman. So up till here, what he said is about Brahman, that this is what Brahman is. Because Brahman is unmanifest, right? Avyaktam, ajaram, does not age, achintyam, inconceivable, ajam, akshayam, unborn, does not decay, and anirdeshyam, arupam, indefinable and formless. Actually, Brahman is also called anirdeshya, because nirdesh means to define, means like you say, this is Brahman. Nirdesh, you point a finger. So you said, this is table, this is book. So you cannot say this to Brahman. You can say this to Bhagavan, that this is Bhagavan. But to Brahman, you cannot point your finger to Brahman. This is interesting. So the finger fails for Brahman. Yes.
Because Brahman is formless, so the Advaita Valis, do they offer prayers? Who do they offer to prayers?
Well, they are praying to Bhagavan. They use Bhagavan to go to Brahman.
So in that sense, their prayers...
They worship Krishna, Rama, but they say that ultimately this is Brahman manifest as Bhagavan. That's their understanding.
Babaji, I heard that Krishna without Radharani is Nirvishesh Brahman, because whatever he is for please her, for her. And then I'm thinking, Radharani without Krishna is this Shakti, no? The Shakti. What is she? Because Krishna without this Shakti, Shaktiman without Shakti is Nirvishesha Brahman. So what can be Shakti without Shaktiman?
Zero.
So it's the same for both sides, no?
Yeah, because there is no such thing as Shakti without Shaktiman. There is no Shakti cannot exist without Shaktiman. It's all imagination, it's not reality. There is no such... Brahman is not imagination. Brahman is reality. But to say that Radha without Krishna, that's just an imagination. Just for the sake of saying, you are saying. It's not that there is some truth behind the statement. Remember, we said that when you have a statement, then there is asakti, yogyata and akanksha, 3 qualifications. So one is yogyata. So that is important. So this Radha without Krishna is not a sentence actually. It doesn't have Yogyata in it. So Brahman is not like that. Brahman is actually Tattva. So these are all description of Brahman. Anirdishyam, arupam, it has no form, and pani padadi asanyutam. It's without any feet and hands. And vibhum, all pervading, sarugating, ever present. Nityam, eternal, bhutyonim, cause of all beings. And akaranam, yet without any cause. And it is vyapi, means it is all encompassing, everything exists in it, but it is avyapya. It is not pervaded by anything. So Brahman is all pervading, but it is not pervaded by anything. So that is vyapi. And sarvam tad vai pashyanti suraya tad brahma paramam dhama. So that is called Brahman. And tad dhyayam moksha kangshinam. So those who are looking after moksha, liberation, so they desire this. Right? Esa brahmi sthiti partha nenam prapya mohiyati sthitva syamant kalepi. So this is the Brahmi Sthiti. Krishna explains. And then comes Paramātmā. Tadetad Bhagavad Vachyam Swarupam Paramātmā. It is the ultimate basis of everything and the reality disclosed through the meditation for the seekers of liberation. It is subtle truth described in the words of Vedas, the supreme seat of Sri Vishnu. The Brahman is the essential nature of Paramātmā and is denoted by the word Bhagavān. The word Bhagavān expresses the original imperishable Lord directly. So Vachako Bhagavat Shabdasya Shabda Tasyadyasya Ksharatma. So Vachaka and Vachya. So basically in Brahman there is also this Vachya Vachak sambandha is difficult to say. That word referent. Because there is no such duality in it. So after saying this, then Parasar comes to define actually what is Bhagavan. So what he is taking is, he is taking all the words Bha, Ga, Va, and then giving meaning to them. This is one way of deriving. There are different ways the words are derived in Sanskrit and explained. So the most common is that you derive it from the root. What is the root word? Right? And the other is that you take each word, each letter in the word and then derive. So sambharta iti tatha bharta bhakaro artha dvayanvita. So he says that the letter Bha, which is the first letter, has two meanings, nourisher and supporter. So Bha means sambharta and bharta. So that is Bha. And neta gameta shrashta gakara arthas tatha muni. And then Ga, the letter Ga has three meanings, leader, carrier and creator. So that's what the letter Ga means. And then together Bha and Ga, Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashriya jnana vairagyascha api sharnam bhagitingna. So Bha and Ga together They express 6 qualities of controlling potency, inconceivable power, fame, wealth, knowledge, and absence of attachment in their totality. So this is Bhaga. And then comes Va. So Vasanti Tatra Bhutani Bhutatmani Akhilatmani Sacha Bhuteshu Shesheshu Vakara Arthas Tato Avya. So all the living beings reside in Bhagavan, who is God within and self of all creation, and he also resides in them. This is the meaning of the letter Va. Therefore, he is the imperishable reality. So this is how he explains the word Bhagavan. So first he gives the meaning of Bha, 2 meanings, then meaning of Ga, 3, then he gives meaning of Bhaga, 6 qualities, then he gives meaning of Va, and then that is the complete Bhagavan. Iti Chaptva, after saying this, then he concludes, Jnana Shakti Bal Aishwarya Virya Tejasya Sheshatah Bhagavad Shabda Vachyani Vina Her Gunadi. The word Bhagavan means complete knowledge, sensory power, bodily strength, controlling power, inconceivable power, and effulgence or beauty, devoid of any repelling qualities. So that's what the word Bhagavan indicates. So here we can see that in these descriptions it is very clear that Bhagavan has got potencies. When the description of Brahman was given, there was no potency which was mentioned. It was mentioned he is all pervading, he is eternal, he is without decay, right? These types of characteristics are mentioned for Brahman. He encompasses everything, but he is not pervaded by anything. He is the cause of everything, but nothing is cause of him or it. So all these descriptions does not indicate that he is possessing powers or Shakti. But when we come to Bhagavan, then immediately it becomes clear that Bhagavan has powers. So first thing itself, Sambharta, that he is a nourisher or he is a maintainer. So for that you need power, you need Shakti. Otherwise, how would you nourish something? So all these Neta, Gamita, Shrashta or Aishwarya, Samagrasya, Ishwarasya, Viryas, these are all Shaktis. So this is the distinction, that Brahman is without Shakti or potency and Bhagavan has potency. So now Jiva Goswami gives explanation of these verses. So he says, Purvavad atra visheshya visheshana vishishtata vivechani. So he says, like before, in this description, you should see that some things are talking about visheshya and some are visheshana, qualifier, and then there are others which are vishishta or qualified. So he says you should see that here. So this is how he is analyzing. He has given us a system to see these verses. Right? So visheshanasya api aheyatvam vyakti bhavishyati. And then he says that the Visheshanas, they are also aheya, they are transcendental. They are non-material. Not only the substantive is transcendental, but the qualities also. So now he takes the first thing he says is arupam. Arupam pani padadiya sanyutam iti idam brahmakhya keval visheshya avirbhavnishtam. Aishwaryasya samagrasya ityadikam kevalam visheshananishtam. Vibhum bhagavata ityadikam tu vishishtanishtam. So he says that the words such as arupam, formless, without feet, without hands, so this is they are referring only to the substantive, the Brahman, the Visheshya, without any qualities, right? And then Aishwarya, the controlling power, Virya, some specific potency. So these are referring to the energy, qualifiers, Visheshanas. And then the word Bhagavan is used, that is referring to the Vishishta or the qualified. So the 6 words beginning with Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, the 6 qualities of controlling potency and so on are simply the determinants, Visheshana, that qualified. Whereas the word Vibhu, Bhagavan and so on indicate the Supreme Reality who possesses these attributes, Vishishta. So in this way, he says that in these verses of Vishnu Purana, you can see that all 3 are stated. There are Visheshanas, qualifiers, there is unqualified reality and the qualified reality. So that is one way of looking at it. Now he will give an alternative explanation, how he will apply everything on Bhagavan. So that we will do tomorrow.
One question. In the beginning, I understood that Bhagavan is present in his abode and not in contact with material nature.
Yes.
But he's also present in the Vigraha and in the mantra.
Yes.
Okay. Good. And maybe one comment to the Damodar Lila. You're mentioning that it's difficult to imagine that how this rope cannot bind. And I was thinking of one way one could think about it is, I was remembering some math I've heard once, like fractal geometry. There are also there are also areas which have an unlimited circumference but a limited area. Yeah, so you cannot paint it. You can paint it fully, but you cannot draw a line around it. And there's
Where is this part of what geometry?
fractal geometry.
Fractal.
Yes, there's for example this Cook's snowflake. They take one triangle, equal sized triangle, and then each one of these 3 sides you divide into 3, and in the middle part you take this as the base of the next equal sized triangle. And then you continue, and then you do it on the other 2 sides as well. So then you have already 12 sides, okay? You have like a snowflake. And then you continue doing this with each of the 12 small sides. So in the next step you have a snowflake that has already 4 times 12, so 48 sides, right? And you go on and go on and go on. So you have, so the circumference grows continuously to infinity, but the area is constrained.
How is that area is constant? Area is also growing.
Yes, it's growing, but it's converging to a fixed number, whereas the area grows.
Oh, you mean it's because it's all in the same triangle?
No, it's all in the same snowflake. Yeah, so it does not expand infinitely, but the circumference expands infinitely. It's not 2D, yeah? It's a little bit less than 2D, so that it has a fractal dimension, but it's...
What do you mean by less than 2D?
Huh?
What do you mean less than 2D?
Yeah, that's
What is less than 2D?
It's a fractal dimension. I
don't know. I mean, I know what is a fractal, but I don't know what fractal geometry is.
Yeah, it's also a fractal. Anyways, so you can kind of imagine that there exists things that have like an unlimited circumference but a limited area. It's also quite mind-boggling.
Okay.
Comes also from Krishna.
You see, that is, I don't know, I have to think about it, what you are saying. Yes.
Twice he said controlling potency, inconceivable power. So he said that again, controlling power, inconceivable power. So what's, because to me, if you have controlling power, you have inconceivable power. If you have inconceivable power, then you have controlling power.
No, controlling may not be inconceivable.
Yeah. Could be limited.
No, inconceivable means you can conceive of it. Like you may be controlling people, it is conceivable that, but inconceivable is something you do which your mind cannot think, how is this possible? Like he is trying to explain. That is inconceivable.
Okay.
उसको दाने मेरा पीछे.
This last 3 points you discussed, that Arupam, Panipad, Adi Asanipam means Brahman, and Vibhum means Bhagavata, Bhagavān. So Vibhum in Sanskrit means great, right?
Yeah, it has many meanings. Vibhu also means which has Vaibhav. You know this word Vaibhav?
Yeah, Aishwarya.
Vaibhav. So Vibhu is one who has Vaibhav, means he has power. You can see it like that. Vibhu is also used for something which is all pervading. So depending how you translate it.
If it means power, still like Bhagavān, it cannot, I mean, how is it denoting Bhagavān? Because...
Means he has power. Vibhu means powerful.
But still that is not manifest in the pure Madhurya feature.
He is not talking about here as pure Madhurya or pure anything like that. He is just defining the word Bhagavān. Where did he say that it is pure Madhurya?
I mean, then how does this Vibhum distinguish from Paramātmā, who is all powerful?
He is not making distinction between Paramātmā and Bhagavān, but he is talking about Visheshan, Visheshya and Vishishta. That's how he started. That there are certain things which are only Visheshya. When he says that it is formless, it is eternal, it is causeless, so that is only Visheshya. Because there is no Visheshana involved. Then there are certain things which are Visheshanas, like controlling power, inconceivable power. And then there are certain things which are qualified objects, that is Vibhu. So whether that is Paramātmā or Bhagavān, that's not the important thing here. He's saying that there are, Paramātmā is also qualified, Bhagavān is also qualified. But he's making a distinction to show you the difference between Visheshana, Visheshya and Vishishta. So when it comes to Vishishta, Paramātmā is also Vishishta, Bhagavān is also Vishishta.
Can Maharaj please tell the definition of Visheshya? Visheshya को किस तरह से परिभाषित करेंगे?
Visheshya means that which is the object which is qualified. It's like when you say white lotus. So in white lotus, basically there are three things. There is whiteness, there is lotus, and then there is a combined white lotus. So this whiteness is the Visheshana, and lotus is the Visheshya, which is getting qualified by the Visheshana. And then when it is qualified, the whole thing is called Vishishta.
So the object per se is Vishesha.
That is Visheshya.
And
So here Brahman is the Visheshya, and Shaktis are the Visheshanas, and Bhagavan is the Vishishta. That's it.
what is the meaning of Neta and Gamita?
Neta is leader, Gameta is carrier.
And one last question. In this, this Jiva Goswami gives his analysis of Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavān. In the commentaries of Shankaracharya, does he also have the same opinion? Like that Brahman is without qualities?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And what is Shankaracharya's opinion about Paramātmā and Bhagavān?
Yeah, same. The only thing is that Bhagavan is not ultimate reality for them. Bhagavan is material. Bhagavan is qualified.
So, Shankar's followers, they like, and Shankaracharya also, he considers as the form of the Lord to be material.
Yes.
Even Shankaracharya also.
Yes. Otherwise, how the follower will continue? Follower are not making up new thing. We said it.
Babaji, can I ask you, well, as we spoke that absolute reality pervades everything, so if one can say that like in each atom, so to speak, Jiva is existing there?
Now you are talking two different things. How you conclude this from the first statement?
I'm just asking if like...
No, but why are you bringing that first statement? You're seemingly relating the first statement to the second statement, right?
Yeah, I'm asking if basically you can say that Jiva is kind of everywhere.
Yeah, Jiva is everywhere, that's okay, but I'm just, to answer your question, yes. My question to you is, how are you relating these two things? And why are you relating them?
Well,
if you simply want to know that Jiva is everywhere, yes, simple answer.
Okay. Well, but then, okay, like, okay, if we take like, okay, one object like human body, so like we have soul and we have Paramātmā-ness. So can you say like, since we are made of many atoms,
there's soul everywhere.
Soul is everywhere, but is different kind of Jiva in each atom, or is the same? Different Jiva.
Yeah, different, yeah.
So, then it's different Jiva in each atom. It means that Paramātmā also comes along with the Jiva in each atom differently.
Yes.
So then how can you say that Paramātmā is just in the heart?
That is, we are talking about you. We are not talking about atom.
Okay. So then why we identify with the Jiva light?
This is just so that you can meditate. If I say that Paramātmā is in every atom, how will you meditate? When which one will you meditate? So the purpose here is not just describing. There is a intention of description is so that you can utilize the description for your benefit. If I say Paramātmā is in every atom, so now you are going to meditate on the finger or the toe or so therefore you say Paramātmā is in the heart, the size of the thumb, it's standing with four hands, so now you have a basis to meditate.
Okay. But, okay, so it's just like for one to kind of have easier way to get your practice done.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's important, right?
Yeah.
But you said that vritti of Brahman isn't a living entity. Can you say that?
Vritti?
Yeah, the vritti of Brahman.
No, I said that when you realize Brahman, so what happens is that your chitta vritti becomes Brahmakar. That's called Brahman realization. That's what I said.
Okay.
I need to come back to this distinction of Bhagavan and Brahman again. So if we say that...
Also just remember that Brahman is not Brahman. These are two separate words because they can be confusing. The word Brahmana and Brahman and Brahma. These are very confusing. So Brahma is the four-headed person, that is called Brahma. And Brahman, which actually becomes Brahma in nominative case. Truly speaking, we should not use the word Brahman. It's like we don't use the word Bhagavat for Bhagavan, we say Bhagavan. Okay? So truly speaking, we should not use the word Brahman. Brahman is unusable. Because in Sanskrit you cannot use a word without applying suffix. So if you have to refer to Brahman, we have to say Brahma. But because it is very confusing, Brahma and Brahma, and because somehow the Western scholar have made it popular, Brahman, so I am also saying Brahman. But truly speaking, it's from Sanskrit point of view, it is unusable. Yes.
Okay, so I mean the Brahma, like a short one.
Okay.
So you are saying that there is one reality, and with qualities it's called Bhagavan, and without it's called Brahman. And then we have Brahman, and which is the Vishesha, and the Shaktis or the Visheshana, and all together is Vishishta. So if I break it down to a chair, so the chair itself would be Brahma, and the brown would be the the Shakti, and the whole chair together would be Bhagavan.
Yes.
But in my mind always pops up this but. It's a chair, so the essence of it is the chair. So if it's brown or black or I don't know, so it's still a chair, so it would refer to Brahma. So then I'm thinking that so that means that I need to have the presumption that the reality is always qualified.
Yes. I mean, whatever reality you are experiencing, it is all qualified reality. So if you remember in the Nyaya, when we studied that when you see the chair, so even if you see the chair without even thinking of its color, chair has chairness in it. So he says that at the first moment there is an experience of chair and chairness without the relationship that chairness had chair. So that is the indeterminate experience. So that experience of chair, which is actually beyond sense perception, because whenever you have sense perception, you will have it with chairness only. Otherwise, how do you recognize it, that this is a chair? But because you cannot have knowledge of chair without the knowledge of chairness, so the Nayayikas, they assume that you must have experience of chairness and chair as separate things to begin with. So at that level, the experience of chair will be just Visheshya. But we don't feel it. So therefore, when you said that all our experiences are of qualified objects, yes, because it's immediately qualified reality.
So does it mean that as we experience all qualified reality here, that means that we assume that also the absolute reality is a qualified one?
Not necessarily. Advaitavadis don't assume that. They say that there is unqualified reality. In fact, they say that all this experience of qualified reality is what they say is not the ultimate reality. It's mithya.